Hello and welcome to this video demonstration. The purpose of this demonstration is to give you an idea of the performance of some of the strategies that I have developed. For this demonstration, I have selected this strategy which I called passive trading, and as the name suggests, it does not require a great deal of effort in engaging in markets. The reason why I selected this strategy for this demonstration is because it is applicable to many people. Now what you see in front of you is the weekly BHP chart and the strategy applied to it. As you can see, there were 4 winning trades and 3 losing trades over a period of 5 years from 2005 to 2010 for BHP. Now the important thing is to have more winning trades than the losing trades, and more importantly to make more profit from your winning trades than the losses you incur from your losing trades. First of all, let me tell you up front that this strategy is not about picking the tops and the bottoms. This strategy is not about picking the tops and the bottoms. It is a 100% mechanical strategy, and in designing this strategy I try to capture big moves and get a slice of it. Where it fails to capture big moves, you get out quickly. Now there's an old adage, and that is cut your losses short and let your profits run, and this strategy tries to follow that. Just to give you a bit more of an idea of this strategy, let me take you through a trade. When market conditions are favorable and certain technical criteria are met, winning probabilities are in your favor, the strategy gives you a signal, you take up a position, and in this particular instance, immediately after the entry, there was a small loss, a small profit, and another small loss, and then it went on to make a profit. This yellow region here is the drawdown that you experienced during the life of the trade. It is in fact the pain that you endured during the life of the trade. Therefore, you want to keep that to a minimum. Here it went on to make a profit and gave some back to the market and got out here. This yellow region is the amount that you gave back to the market. It happens all the time, and it is part and parcel of the whole process. As I said before, this is the weekly BHP chart and the strategy applied to it. This leads us to the next question, and that is, what would be the performance of this strategy with other stocks? Let me key in some stocks. ASX, 3 winners and 2 losers. TRS, one of my favorites because I was very fortunate to ride all this. Cabcharge, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, Incitec Pivot, JB Hi-Fi. Of course, there are bad stocks as well. SGM, for example, all the trades were losers. Now this leads us to the next question, and that is, what would be the performance of this strategy if you apply the strategy to a portfolio of stocks over a certain period of time? And that's what I'm going to do now. First of all, I need to define the portfolio, and I'll use the top 200 simply because that's what most super funds invest in. Of course, there are bad stocks here, so in reality you will be more selective in choosing your portfolio. You will not be using a general portfolio like this. For the duration, I have selected a period of 10 years from 1st of January 2000 to 1st of January 2010. Keep in mind that during this period there was a bull market and one of the worst bear markets. In practice, you will not be using this strategy with bear markets, but for this illustration I have decided to include it just to show the robustness of the strategy. I have keyed in $100,000 as the starting capital and 3% per annum as the interest for the funds in your brokerage account. I have decided not to use any margin. There are lots of systems around that make use of margin to improve the performance. If I wanted to, I could have used margin here to improve or further improve the performance of this strategy. But for this illustration, I have decided not to use any margin simply because I believe margin can be a double-edged sword. For the maximum position size, I have limited the maximum position size to $25,000. Unless you're a millionaire, committing more funds than $25,000 for a single position can be considered as putting all your eggs in one basket. Aside from that, psychologically, it is difficult to put or commit any more funds than 25,000 for a single position, at least for me anyway. This is a weekly system. That means the strategy gives signals on a weekly basis. Therefore, your engagement in the market is limited to the weekends. It's a minimal involvement strategy, and that is why I called it passive trading strategy. It only gives long signals, that means no short positions. At any one particular time, you can have up to 10 positions active in your portfolio. We're now ready to analyze or apply this strategy for the portfolio we selected. And that's what this backtesting does, applying the strategy to the portfolio over this period. Now these are all the trades that the strategy came up with, and the worst trade was this and the best trade was this. Anyway, this has prepared a report for us. Keep in mind that during this period there was one of the worst bear markets, and yet the strategy was able to produce 21% per annum return over that period, and the account grew from 100 to 684. And over that period there were 210 trades, and 53% of them were winners and 47% of them were losers. And most importantly, the average profit was 4 times more than the average loss, and that's very important, and that's why this strategy was able to produce 21% return, even though the number of winners and the number of losers were approximately equal. The other important feature is this maximum system drawdown, 10% or 45,800. Now this is where the psychology kicks in. Can you withstand a loss of 45,000 from your account at any one point in time? It's a different issue that I need to talk on a different video, but for now the maximum system drawdown is 10% or 45,000. Now this is the profit distribution chart, and as you can see there were 3 trades with 210% profit. Now in business it is regarded that about 20% of the businesses gives them the reason to be in business. Likewise here about 20% of the trades gives us the reason to be in the market. Now a bit more stats about the performance of the strategy. Now this is the yearly performance of the strategy. Important thing to note is during the bear market it made minimal losses. Now this is the equity curve, and the blue area is the portfolio equity and the green area is the cash in your brokerage account, and this area is the drawdown you experienced, and note that the worst drawdown was during the bear market days, and that's why we don't use this strategy during a bear market. Also note that the green area is growing, and that's because of the two limitations I set at the very beginning. Firstly, the position size to be no more than 25,000, and also a number of stocks active at any one time in your portfolio to be no more than 10. Those two together prevents the use of excess capital in your brokerage account. And thank you for listening.